Time to get into the hack that took me from Flab to Fab, but nearly drove me insane in the process. So there was a town, and there was a man of the town who was known for his jokes. And he could make anybody laugh. They love how witty he was. He was kind of the town clown. And one day he had a brand new joke that he wanted to share with the town. So he called everybody to the square, filled the seats, and proceeded to tell his brand new joke. Now he started to tell his joke. Everybody was leaning in. They were smiling. They were ready for the punchline. And boom, he tells it, and they burst out laughing. The joke was a hit. Everybody was laughing so hard they were even peeing themselves. So the man felt really proud of himself. The next day, same thing. Gathered everybody up in the square. He was going to tell that joke again. So he sat everybody down. They all leaned in to hear. He delivered his joke. He didn't miss a beat. Hit the punchline, and everybody burst out laughing. They were peeing their pants again. It was funnier the second time around. Then he was feeling good. He's like, okay, let's do it again. Day 3 came around. Collected everybody, told the same joke, but the laughing didn't seem to be as loud that day. A couple smiles, a little bit of laughter, but not as much as the day before. He thought, okay, I'll try one more time. Day number 4, collects them all together, tells them his joke, hits that punchline, but on this day, there wasn't even a smile. Nobody was laughing, no one was smiling. In fact, they looked a little annoyed, and he asked his friend, he said, what's going on? Why is no one laughing at my joke today? And he said, well, you already told this joke. It's the same joke. And then the jester, the town clown, he says, if you won't laugh at the same joke, why do you cry at the same problems? You see, if you constantly talk about the same problem over and over again, it's only going to lead to frustration. Because the definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? That man was insane. Told the joke over and over again, expected a different result than he got. That's insane. You know what else is insane? Crying out over the same problem again and again. And, sometimes you have to recognize that an old behavior pattern, an old habit, an old way of thinking, an old way of doing things, it's time to reflect and change for the better, because you are the one that's been keeping you stuck. You are the one that's crying over the same problem and not realizing it. And this was so true for me, okay? Now that I've lost the weight, I've lost over 80 pounds, and I can reflect on, the behavior patterns and the habits that I got stuck into. I remember having a habit and a behavior pattern that I'd always fall into. I remember one of them would be, I would start like sneaking and eating peanut butter in the pantry, right? And I got really good late at night, sneaking into the pantry, right? Like super soft on my feet so nobody could hear me. In the dark, I knew where to find the peanut butter and screw it, and I just eat spoonfuls of peanut butter. That was my guilty pleasure. And then I would stop, and I would listen, because I'd hear foot movements, and I knew who was who. You ever know who you can tell coming down the stairs? You just knew by the sounds of their feet which person it was. And then I'd stop and put it away so no one caught me, because I knew I shouldn't have been doing it. But yet there I was. And it was these behavior patterns that I kept repeating over and over again, right? There was thought patterns too that I kept repeating, right? Like, one bite won't hurt. I'll start next Monday. I don't even need to lose that much weight. Right? And I told myself this, and it became a cycle. And it was a cycle that I couldn't get out of. And it was a cycle that I kept getting mad at myself for being in as well. I kept crying over the same cycles. I kept crying over the same problem. Right? And this challenge acts as your pattern interrupt. There's some type of pattern going on, and you're going in a circle. And unless we kick you, you're going to continue to go into a circle. If we kick you out of that circle, you can create a new pattern, a new shape and fall into. Okay, because creating patterns isn't hard. It's a little bit of a push to realize you have that pattern and then redirect that pattern. And then once we have a new pattern to replace it with, it becomes easy. Most of the time, when we're doing something we don't like a bad habit, Like I shouldn't have had 2 glasses of wine. I should have stopped after 1, right? I shouldn't have had 5 pieces of pizza. I should have stopped after 2, right? I shouldn't have skipped that workout. I should have got it done in the morning because I know I'm never going to do it at nighttime. Whatever your cycle is that you've been stuck in, the thing that you want to do, then the thing that you actually end up doing. I wish I could do this, but I ended up doing this. Whatever that cycle is, you just need to replace it with something else. Most of the time we just say, God, I should stop doing this. I should stop doing this. And then we never do. You know, it's not the fact that you ate the donut that's bad. It's the fact that you said you weren't going to eat it and then you ate it anyway. That is wrong. You are degrading your word. The only thing you have in this lifetime is your word. That's it. You have control over literally nothing else. Nothing else except your word. And so I would rather you go say, I'm going to eat that donut, and then you eat that donut. Eating the donut because you said you were going to eat the donut is 1,000 times better and more beneficial for you than saying you're not going to eat it and then you eat it anyway, because you are degrading your word. Then anytime you go into a situation with a game plan, you don't even believe you can follow that game plan, and so you don't. And so nothing you say is sacred or important anymore. Nothing you say you believe anymore. And if you don't believe what you say, how can you believe when you say you're going to reach your goal? You're not going to get there at all. And so you have to be a woman of your word and watch what you're saying. Do not say something if you cannot commit. Just stop committing. Stop saying such intense things if you're not going to commit. That's okay. Because what that does is over time, when we do decide to say something, we know that that's taken serious. And we put thought behind saying that out loud, so we know we can follow through with it. And then when we follow through with it, we followed through with what we said we were going to follow through. So now we've created this new pattern of being a woman of your word. Instead of trying to be a woman of your word but never being it. Just stop trying to be altogether. And then only say what you know you can do, right? So instead of saying, I'm going to eat the donut, or I'm not going to eat it, then you eat it. Try saying, I'm only going to have 2 donuts today. That's very easy to do, isn't it? Having 2 donuts, super easy to do. Much easier than resisting a donut, right? And then if you do what you say you're going to do, even if what you do isn't necessarily like the healthy thing, that's okay. We're trying to fix the bigger picture here. There's something much more important at stake than eating or not eating a donut, okay? Because if we resist the donut now, even though we wanted it, that is in line with a behavior pattern that would make you gain weight back. But if we fix you being a woman of your word right now, that is how every pound that you lose will never come back. You guys following this? And so what are you doing to make this time different? Because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. And you'll repeat the cycle without even realizing it until the day that you die. And you will die overweight, unhappy, miserable, bitter, because when you're overweight, you're not happy. You're not as kind as you can be. You're not as patient as you can be. Like, it's not a nice future. Think about if you gained, on average, ladies gain 1.5 pounds after the age of 35 every single year. So in 10 more years, what is that, 15 pounds? 10 years, 15 pounds, if minimum. How would that feel? 20 years, 30 pounds heavier. How would that feel? That's a scary, scary future. And so what are you doing now to make it this time different? What are you doing? Are you saying, I got this, no problem, I don't need to plan? Do you already think you got it? That's not different, right? Did you set the same goal as you already have? Maybe set an even scarier, bigger goal. That's different. You must act out of character to get into a new character. You can't act like you and expect you to change. You get what I'm saying? Something needs to change for something to change.